Right, I've got two Xboxes here, both off the same customer, and this customer is a little bit awkward, to say the least. The one on the bottom is, well, they're both Xbox One S's, and apparently, well, the one on the top has recently been water damaged, and the one on the bottom has been water damaged for 12 months. Yeah, a little bit strange. I don't know why it would be left for 12 months, but apparently it has. And the customer's a little bit awkward. They said they only want one fixing. So they'd prefer this one to be fixed. But if not, then I need to try and fix the other one. And if I can't fix it, and if I can fix this one, then they want the hard drive out of the other one, putting into this one. Which, unless the hard drive in this one is faulty, then wouldn't make any sense, because obviously you can't just swap the hard drive. You can't just transfer data. It's not that simple. So yeah, this customer's a little bit awkward. So yeah, I don't quite understand what the deal is with this customer. They seem a little bit awkward, but I shall try and accommodate. But I'm taking this apart and I don't even know what the deal is. So let's have a look what the deal is with this before I go any further. Let's see if it at least turns on. No. No response at all. Okay. Cool. So we're going to try and fix this one first. This one apparently got water damaged a year ago. Genuinely do not understand why it will be left for a year. Now I'm assuming that the person just ended up buying a new one, and they're just like, yeah, stuff it, I'll just buy a new one, and then they've just decided, because they've water damaged the second one, that they want to try and fix it. So apparently this got liquid damaged a year ago. So it could be at a point where it's beyond repair. Oh god. Ugh. It could be at a point where it's beyond repair by now. I'll have to find out in a minute when I've removed the board. Right. So this one apparently is just no power. I'm looking for any signs of damage before I start. Always do a visual inspection. Sometimes it'll just slap you in the face and point to it. And look at me, I'm short. Can't see much. Can't see much of anything. So I am going to test for a short on 12 volts. So I'll put one probe on ground. May as well use the red probe, because in a minute I might test diodes, or rather MOSFET in diode mode. So we've got a ground point. Let's test the 12 volt point. Come on, you're either short or you're not. Interesting. Resistance is a bit odd there. We do have a short on the 12 volt rail, but that's a bit strange. Alright, it could have just been a connection issue. Yep, 12 ohms, 15 ohms. And it is increasing, that's kind of odd, so it can't be a big short. Right, so there is a short on the 12 volt, but it's not a dead short. So we've definitely got an issue there. Let's pop under the microscope. I'm just hunting around. So we've got some liquid damage here. Okay, I am seeing something now. So I'm seeing something on this U9D2. This is a MOSFET driver, and that controls switching on the MOSFET, I believe. So we've got some corrosion on the output pin there. And if you look at where this goes, or one of the output pins, it goes up to this resistor. We might have a blown resistor as well, possible. We've got more corrosion on the next phase on the MOSFET driver. Not so bad on this one, but still a little bit corroded. Alright. So, I'm in diode mode now. Let's just test these MOSFETs. So I'm going to test the gate, which is this top left pin. And that one is definitely short. We get 0.013 volts drop to ground, so that's shorted out to ground. If we go into continuity, that pin will beep. So that one's short. That one's reading as 0.633, which is a good reading. And 0.633, so that's a good read. Well, that was a good reading, but now I've just shorted that out, I think. No, I haven't. I'll have to reflow that though, because I did just faff with the solder there. So that could end up short. Alright, so we've got a short on phase 1. Let's check the RAM MOSFET, because we've got corrosion around there. Well, not corrosion, we've got signs of burnt components around there. So the gate's here on this one. You can usually tell where the gate is on a MOSFET, because where you've got the source here, the source is always going to be 4 pins. So there's 4 pins joined together, one big trace or one big pad, and then you've got the gate, which is a single pin on its own, lonely old gate, and then you've got the drain, which is the other 3 pins here, this side, this big pad. So you can usually tell where the gate is because it's a single pin. So we've definitely got a short on this first phase here, so that's got to come off. But we've also got issues with the MOSFET drivers on all 3 phases. So I'm going to be changing all 3 of them MOSFET drivers just because of how bad they look. But I'm going to be changing this MOSFET as well. So I'm going to go for, this is an Xbox, which means a really thick board. So I'm going to go 460 degrees Celsius at 40% airflow. Whoops. A little bit of an involuntary twitch there. Ended up losing that MOSFET. Whoops, sorry, not the MOSFET, the resistor. It's a 2 ohm resistor. I'll replace it in a minute. I've got to take MOSFETs on a donor board because I'm completely out, and all of the regular suppliers are also sold out as well. So they're going to have to come off a donor board. So whether these MOSFET drivers are bad or not, I'm still going to get rid of them. I mean, this one, let's face it, probably is. But I'm going to get rid of them anyway, for the simple fact that they look really bad. So I want to clean the rest of it up, and then I can replace the solder on there. So I'll just use some IPA. I know where the damage is now, which means I can afford to clean it. It's a bit strange, the best looking phase of all of them has got the short. Kind of odd. I don't know if I'm going to be getting a contact on those caps. They look a little bit burnt up. Yeah, I think I'm going to change these caps as well. I mean, they don't look great. Actually, I think they're just a little bit charred. Actually, I think that should be fine. Maybe freshen the solder joints up on them. Just add a little bit of leady solder. Should be okay. It seems to be scratching off. Same with them ones and them ones, I think. Yeah, I think it should be fine. I'm not really bothered about a little bit of charring on the capacitors. But that said, I'll see how they look when I've refreshed them. So I'm going to just add some flux all over the place. That resistor R9D30 I'm going to be checking out in a minute as well. Let's see how this looks. If you can take solder, then should be fine. Just give it a bit of a scrape, freshen those pads. Yep. These pads on the MOSFET driver, however, are pretty rough. Scrape them. This is what I love a bevel tip. Just scrape the pads. Right, let's have a look at this resistor just here. That's a little bit burnt. A little bit of burning's fine. It's just if I'm sitting here touching up pads, then I may as well do that one as well. Ah, shit. Get back on there. Well, that works. So, I'm going to grab a Xbox donor board. I'm going to grab some MOSFETs, I think. Xbox donor board. Right, got one just here. There you go, that resistor's back in place. And so is, whoops, and so is that one. Wonky needs more flux. Kind of my signature move, mate. Press down and hold. Wait for it to settle. Add flux. There you go. Alright, so I'm going to grab some brand new MOSFET drivers. These are going to be NCP 5901s. So I'm going to need 3 of these. Right, right, I'm good at blowing chips as well apparently. God knows where they've gone. I know there's one out just off to the side here. Oh, there's the other one. I can see it. Yoink. Give me that. Get on your pad. See, that chip knows who the boss is. See that? Now sit. That chip knows who the boss is. Jaden. I'm using 460, mate. Reason for that is because I'm on an Xbox board and fairly thick. It is application specific though. I mean, I wouldn't get away with using 460 degrees Celsius on, for example, a Nintendo Switch, because the board is super thin. I'd just burn the board. But if I'm working on something like a PS4 or an Xbox One, then I'll tend to go higher because the boards are much thicker. Like a phone, I would go for like 370 or 380, something like that, on a phone. Right, onto this one then. So I've actually got a little bit of damage on this one, but there is still some of the pad there, so it should be okay. As long as a little bit of the pad's there, and I've got rid of all of the oxidation and corrosion. Oh, there you go, the pad's come back. Look at that, magic. Just like magic. Right. Let's get this one on. Okay. That resistor might be a little bit iffy as well. I'll be testing them components in a minute. Just going to touch up the joints. I probably haven't got to replace them. Don't look great though. It's funny, this one tested okay on the multimeter and the other one tested bad, but the other one looked a lot better than this one. Alright, on to the next. I'm just scraping away at the caps, by the way. Just trying to scrape some of the crap off them. Just like that. Just like that. Stop sticking to my tweezers. Now, you belong on an Xbox board. Come on. It's not that bad on there, I promise. Yeah, the big blob of solder's throwing it off. Okay. Random solder blob there. Alright. Looking a little bit dull, them pads was. Just freshen them up. Okie doke. I think that's it. I think that's it. And we should have got rid of the short as well. I'm just scrubbing it with IPA. Just anywhere I've had flux. Scrub it with IPA. Alright. Looks much better. Definitely looks much better. I don't think I can see any more corrosion, but I could be wrong. Let's just check up here. There's a little MOSFET thing up here which becomes corroded sometimes. It tried to hit it, look. It tried to hit it. Not quite. I think this does need a good ultrasonic clean, to be honest. So I'll probably leave this taken apart and do it tomorrow. It's a bit late to be putting the ultrasonic cleaner on now. Okay, let's just test the 12 volt rail. So meter in continuity. Let's just see if we get a short on 12 volt. No short. So we get a beep there because it is 12 volt. It is ground, but not there. Okay, short gone. Cool. Let's have a look. See if it works. Let's see if it works. I do have another one from this customer to work on. Again, liquid damaged. So I'm not going to change the thermal paste because I want to ultrasonic the board. Power cable, power cable, power cable, power cable. Where have you gone? There you are. Let's have a look. We get a fan spin. Alright, we've got no beep, but we have got a white light. Let's turn it on and staying on. Right, okay, so let's see if we get a display. Boom. There you go. One 12-month-old liquid damage fixed. That is how we roll. This was 12-month-old liquid damage. It does need an ultrasonic clean, which I will do. But for now, I'm going to work on the other customers, or on the other console that the same customer sent in. So I'm going to pop this one away. The reason I haven't changed the thermal paste is because I need to ultrasonic it. It's pointless putting thermal paste on just to take it off again to ultrasonic clean the board. And the reason I'm going to be ultrasonicing the board tomorrow is purely because it's been liquid damage for 12 months. You could have all sorts of gunk underneath chips. So it'll get a good 20-minute ultrasonic clean using isopropyl alcohol and deionized water. So what I'm going to do, this customer left me a nice little bag. So I'm going to drop all the customer's screws in there. I'm going to pop that there. So I'm going to keep it all together, make sure I don't get anything mixed up, such as the disk drive. Doesn't really matter about the hard drive caddy, but I will drop it in there. I'm going to drop that in there, and then I'm going to gather up all of this customer's screws. I'm going to drop them into here. Where's the speaker gone for that, actually? That's interesting. That's why we're not getting no sounds. Why is there no speaker on this? I'll find a speaker. So the reason that these holes are punched out on this is because the limited edition consoles, they planned for it when they made the console, and the limited edition consoles have got a punch out to put a speaker on, similar to the Xbox One original, and they've got the connector on there, and the sounds actually come from a chip on the back of the front panel. Right, the custom startup sounds come from a custom chip on the back of the front panel. Sorry, not a custom chip, a touch sensor chip, which also stores data, and I store the sounds on it. So I'm going to pop that there, and then pop all this to one side.